Вы сами записываете.
Good afternoon, and today we have a very special guest. We have Dr. Marina Rosenshtein and Benjamin Rosenshtein, and they represent the company ImmunoHealth. But first of all, thank you to our audience. If you have trouble sleeping or sleep next to snoring partner, this program is going to be for you. We're going to talk about very important entity what related to sleep so much. We're going to talk about food and immune health response to food. But if you're a medical professional who, just like us, trying to find all puzzles of that disease called sleep apnea or sleep breathing related disorders, this program is going to be for you, because we're going to talk about something what is very important but not so common in the present state of medicine. We're going to talk about food sensitivity and what food we should eat and how we should find out if we shouldn't eat certain food, and how certain condition, I'm talking about stuffy nose, postnasal drip, all signs of inflammation in the nasal cavity or in the mouth related to food, or as well as other signs of inflammation, irritable bowel syndrome, obesity, chronic fatigue, how they all can be tied to inflammation and food sensitivity as well. But first of all, I want to introduce our guest to us. She's very famous. We are both came from, former Soviet Union, or we can say from Russia. And she is a doctor endocrinologist in Russia. And she practicing this type of medicine, endocrine food-related medicine in former Soviet Union as well as in the Middle East. And she's a very famous doctor because she came up with something so unique and so helpful. And we met through our friend Bella. Actually, thank you very much to Bella. She opened up a door to totally new area for me. And Marina has a very rich life history, but now she is a practicing nutritionist in Florida, and she helped a lot of people all over the world through her test, ImmunoHealth, and we find out all details about that. And she speaks many languages, including Estonian and Finnish and Tuvian and Hebrew. But today, our conversation is going to be in English, obviously. But, she's a very interesting, educated person. So my first question to you, related to our sleep and breathing and inflammation, chronic inflammation, which affect sleep and breathing so much. What exactly, food intolerance or food sensitivity, what is it?
Thank you. Thank you very much, first of all, for your invitation. Thank you so much. English is the last one in my long row of languages, and it's not the best, definitely, but I will try. I will do my best. Okay. First of all, I'm not from Russia. I came from Estonia. It was for a pretty long time European Union. So I'm medical doctor in several countries. And here I prefer to practice nutrition, because nutrition gives me much more opportunities to realize, to give my patients all the best which I could to do to my patients. And your first question was about how we started.
What is food sensitivity and how you started? Why food sensitivity is such an important topic?
It happened many years ago. For 40 years, I practiced as a doctor, and my first experience was taken from my expeditions. Academy of Science organized expeditions to very specific populations of Central Asia and Russian North, and all that expeditions of Cardiological Institute of Academy of Science was targeted to find out why all that people who eat just meat, selective meat eaters, carnivores, all that people show not very high longevity. Longevity is naturally not very, is not a record. But we found out that they are pretty healthy people. And all our expectations about atherosclerosis, metabolic syndrome, and all symptoms of some problems connected with such a special, very specific lifestyle and very specific food culture became absolutely wrong. And what we figured out, first of all, the same representatives of the same population, which started to live in small towns or worked on some factories and ate like Europeans. It was European tradition and European food list. They became totally sick. A whole range of diseases of civilization, like autoimmune diseases, oncology, allergic reactions, classical allergy, and a lot of problems appeared immediately in people who changed the lifestyle. And natural lifestyle in shepherding and in nomadic life, natural lifestyle and natural food tradition, which considered like meat, just meat and meat only. In North populations, meat and fish, protein and fat, in fact. Such people usually felt absolutely normal and didn't show any problems in history, in family histories. And we even faced very specific reason of death, oldness. We didn't meet that for many, many years. Doctors couldn't find any reason of death except of aging and just oldness. And we couldn't understand how it happens. And finally, I faced the same problem in my later period of life with my children. Both of my children got chronic problems. My daughter got very serious eczema and neurodermitis. It's a very special diagnosis. I didn't meet that in American classification, but it's the same eczema, but much closer to psoriasis. And my son, whom I'm happy to introduce, he's still on his serious food restrictions all his lifetime, but he doesn't experience any inconveniences. But we all told goodbye to his asthma, discharge nonstop, postnasal drip, and all that outbreaks of mucus, which didn't give him to talk normally, and breathe normally. And it happens very early. And when he was 3 years old, I remembered very interesting thing. We can't eat all we want. We have special food, like food niche in biology, and we can't step out of that comfortable niche. And of course, we found some tests, and IgG just appeared in practice, American test. We found it just for 8 products. And all 8 products showed horrible reactions. But we found with one very, very good specialist and very famous pediatrician, we found the way how to heal my son just with diet changes. We just changed the diet. That's all.
I want to ask Benjamin. Benjamin, what you stop eating? What stopped all this postnasal drip and all of that? What did you eliminate from your diet?
In my case, the first thing was cow milk. So I remember we vacationed somewhere and grandma came along and I refused to eat all the things that were available. And I insisted on having this chocolatey milk that came in cartons with a straw.
I love it.
Yes. And I just overdosed on that. And that caused a severe reaction. And so on the way home, I still vividly remember nearly dying because my throat canals closed, my esophagus, and I was choking. Now, later on, I had to, eliminating milk from my diet helped a lot. But later on in life, when we immigrated to America, I faced a new set of challenges because not only was it a new food environment, it was also different products that I was eating in Europe and feeling fine, but in America started to cause me discomfort. And so repeating the test here, I've since eliminated gluten. I've eliminated cane sugar, and that's one of those products that was new to me because in Europe, where I come from, turns out a lot of the sugar comes from beets and it's sucrose. Whereas cane is something, turns out, I'm not adapted to. Beyond that, there were some replacements that became available during my coming of age for milk, such as soy milk. That's before the proliferation of all the other variations like oat, almond, etc. So soy was first, and I leaned heavily into soy milk. And that brought along its own set of ramifications, so to speak. So since then, and I have to credit and thank God for my mother, because I know that I wouldn't be able to maintain my health, my weight, my physical abilities. I'm an athlete. If I didn't have that key to my health.
That's beautiful. But now you, as a big part of ImmunoHealth US, I want to ask you what's so different, because in the United States we have immunoglobulin G as an intolerance test. But what's so different about the test your company, that idea what your mom brought to United States, offer what standard tests do not offer?
Absolutely. And, Marina can go more in depth into the technicalities, but I can just give you a brief elevator pitch about how this approach is different and why it gets results. So most food sensitivity tests stop at giving you a list of reactive foods. Our ImmunoHealth test goes much further. We use a proprietary interpretation method developed over 25 years, utilizing clinical experience, and that identifies not just what's triggering your immune system, but how to adapt your diet so those reactions can resolve. It's science-backed, it's personalized, and it's paired with expert guidance, which in turn turns lab results into real sustainable health actions plan. And so, in doing research, competitor analysis, et cetera, and picking the labs, I've experienced a lot of other laboratory testing at home kits, etc. And a lot of them, use the same sets of antigens. They all have their own interpretation, but which is based on a population median for that cutoff point between what is allowed versus what is in the red list, so to speak. Some of them don't even go beyond giving you, one or two, either don't eat or eat. Some of them have more gradations. Perhaps 3, meaning low reactivity, no reactivity, or high reactivity. And a lot of them come with very, common knowledge recommendations. Eliminate this for a period of time, then reintroduce it. Again, we go much further than that. Your entire anamnesis, so to speak, or your health profile is taken into account. And based on our individualized interpretation and patented approach to interpreting raw laboratory data, we're able to not only establish which foods with high degree of specificity are causing immune strain for you, but we're also able to establish a comfortable plan that aligns with your health goals and your abilities. Someone is an athlete, someone is a working mother, someone is, stuck in an office 9 to 10. And so that is all taken into consideration. And what you get is a truly individualized approach and sort of hand-holding through that crucial period of 1 to 4 months where all of the change happens.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I want to mention to my audience that you can find information about ImmunoHealth on their website and actually, ability to take tests. And Marina, I would like to ask you more like fundamental question. Many conditions what my patient population fighting or, trying to get rid of. We're talking about autoimmune disease or, obesity or chronic fatigue. Very complex and multifactorial. But how does food sensitivity fit into the broader spectrum on functional medicine and long-term health? Like what exactly role food play? And we can talk about more specific, like periodontal disease or postnasal drip or stuffy nose. So please give us that.
Unfortunately, we depend very much on our enzymes, which is genetically determined. We depend on quality of our intestinal barrier, which usually is compromised in modern people. Why? Because intestinal barrier consists mostly from our good bacteria, and bacteria protects us when food is not properly digested, and bacterial biofilms cover our intestinal surfaces from inside, and it doesn't allow not digested food and another compounds to enter in our bloodstream, to pass through intestinal barrier. If intestinal barrier is compromised by antibiotics or hormones or some another reasons, when we don't have enough enzymes or our enzymes don't fit to our food list, of course we will absorb a lot of not digested compounds, and the most important, not digested thoroughly proteins. Proteins, if not digested, will cause immunological response. It's a major of our immune system. It's a main role of our immune system. Immune system has to react, has to produce antibodies, and the main 80% of all antibodies are immunoglobulins G. Antibodies will be called immunoglobulins in medical terminology. Immunoglobulins G are circulating in blood antibodies. It's pretty aggressive stuff which cause inflammation. Very high molecular weight compounds, which attract liquid and become colloid, like a colloid,
like a gel.
Like a gel, and make our blood more thick, not very leaky, not enough leaky. And it changed a lot of conditions, and it brings to many effects, especially if immune system is overloaded and doesn't have enough time, doesn't have chance to process all that materials, because all materials which process immune system are disposable, just one time used, and have to be processed and eliminated. In the situation of disbalance, when immune system doesn't process and eliminate all that materials properly, it will be collected in some tissues, deposited in tissues, and we never know in which tissues, because it's genetically determined too. And if in one person, like in my daughter, it happened with her skin, in my son, it happened in lima lining of throat, tonsils, adenoids, and bronchial system. In other people, it could happen like a neuroinflammation, for example, or in joints. Very often it happens with joints, and no any specialist could find out which diagnosis to
what would be causing specific arthritis. They cannot find the reason.
Can't determine the diagnosis, because it's just metabolic problem, and first of all immunological problem, and it could be called metabolic arthritis, but nobody knows. Nobody knew what is metabolic arthritis in real life. Just last years, after immunology developed very much, immunology has made huge steps, because it got very serious tools, microscopes, lab technologies, and DNA technologies, a lot. And now we understand life of immune system much better. And we know overloaded immune system could kill own organism. It's like suicide, which could cause nerve system. Immune system is able to destroy the body when overloaded and irritated non-stop. What we do, we just eliminate the main part of burden. It's food. Why food? Because all food products are some organisms, not our body. And the immune system detects it immediately. It's not our body. It belongs to different organism. It has to be destroyed and eliminated. And it's a very expensive process. We will spend oxygen to oxidize all that particles. Immune system will use it. Not your muscles, not your brain. Immune system will utilize almost all reserve of oxygen for oxidation. Immune system will use your energy. It will use your proteins to create antibodies and immunocomplexes. After antibody caught the antigen and covered all of that with additional proteins to create cocoon with very гладкой поверхностью.
With a smooth surface.
Smooth surface, yes, thank you. And that structure, of course, has to be destroyed and eliminated immediately. If not, it will, after sedimentation on, for example, on vessel surfaces, it will initiate inflammatory process, which will finish with atherosclerosis and some cardio or brain catastrophes, cardio or brain events.
Yeah.
And it's why we have to keep your immune system in normal conditions, and immune system will serve your body for 100%. No tumors, no inflammation, no any another problems if immune system will cope with all antigens which are able to enter our body and our bloodstream. So we just liberate immune system.
Yes, no, that's beautiful. I just want to ask last question to Benjamin. So what you explained to us after your test, when you find what body reacts with immunoglobulin G on 96 different foods, that's what your test offer, then you offer diet to the patient, right? You offer specific diet for 1 month, for like it's a week, no, schedule of food, to have a diversity for a week, and they have to just live that way until certain time when they eliminate that immune reaction or immune system calm down, right? That's
we don't call it diet. It's a program, because diet changes. It's dynamical process. We usually start with more strong limitations, and we usually start with correction of microbiome, because if microbiome is not balanced, usually we can't cope with our main goal. We need strong intestinal barrier. If you have strong intestinal barrier, your food list becomes broader and broader, and you don't need such horrible limitations. Maybe 1-2 products. And even though we never say never, our patients sometimes cheat, and it's normal. They know what to do after cheating or while cheating. It's not a big problem, but your everyday food has to stay comfortable for your immune system, and it means for your body.
Something worth mentioning here is also that the program that is developed individually is meant to be comfortable. It's made to be livable with. This does not encompass starvation or intermediate fasting or anything of the sort. Usually, the spectrum of products that is left and available within the safe zone, which, as Marina mentioned, is expanding after a while, is perfectly sufficient in order to build a ration. And to do that, our consultants can reference a number of works. So, for example, there are 2 books have been published with extensive dietary guidance and recipes as well. And we're actually working diligently towards translating those to English, and hopefully in the future offering that as part of the program. And another thing that you mentioned is the 96 food panel. So right now we finalized validation of 180 food panel, and we will be switching to that shortly.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really like, I recommend my listeners to visit ImmunoHealth and learn about your system. And we hope to post a link to the books as well. So thank you very much. I hope we can make our patients or people around us healthier with the most important thing, with the food, because we are what we eat. So thank you, Marina, for bringing the books. Let's show it to the audience.
Yes, I want to show, I didn't think about that before, but we have monograph. It will be translated in English very soon. And we have a lot of references from very big authorities in that science. And my co-authors and me, we prepared all basics of immunodietology for doctors. And we have approximately 500 doctors in Russia and doctors in other countries who study in our company. We have some academia for doctors. And
there's actually a course also being taught on the basis of this book at a prestigious university.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a new science, and this one with the recipes, besides the
I was forced to prepare 2 books. It's only one we have 2 books from one series, and I prepared the third one with recipes.
Excellent. And I love your recipes, especially with the nut. Yes.
It's popular book with recipes prepared with very good chef who worked in that field of
immunomedicine.
Healthy nutrition. So we prepared it very fast because it was very interesting work. How to cook with no common products, because we prepared it for almost for every patient. We just in case eliminated all suspicious foods, which become much more often as antigens, as offending foods. We tried to prepare with no eggs, gluten, dairy, refined sugar, yeast, and all that products. And if some patient is able to use it, he will easily add. But elimination, it's not so easy for cooking.
Of course. Thank you very much. And I hope my patients be able, and my audience be able to find you and learn about healthy food. So best of luck with your course and the test. And thank you very much for your time. And I put this information in my book as well. I talk about, food and food sensitivity and how that can affect the health. So thank you very much for inspiration.
Thank you.